This is Jets at Noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Start a new streak. Like every game, whether we win or lose, reflect on it, learn from it, wash it, and get back after it on Saturday.
Simple words. A man of few words, Neil Pionk.
Pionky-tonk, man.
He gets right to the point. He doesn't dance around it. He gets right to it. What are we going to do on Saturday? Well, we'll start that streak again. We'll get things going again. 2-1 loss to the Nashville Predators last night. Free-for-all Friday as well, 204-780-6868. Winning text or phone call will win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method. Jets at Noon, of course, brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. We'll announce the winner later on in the program. So send us your text. Give us a call. We'll get you on the air here and get your thoughts. But wanted to first thank Scott and Ann, who came by and visited the station.
Yeah.
They're from the Twin Cities. The city's down in Minnesota. And they popped by, sent me an email, wanted to say hi. And just to really appreciate the time and the conversation with Scott, huge hockey fan. Big Jets fan, too. He's here to see the game tomorrow. So thanks a lot to Scott and Ann. And that was really loved meeting you guys today.
We hear from Scott regularly, weekly on Jets at Noon. He often weighs in on my show, too, and gives me some great insight about like this is going on in our state when we're talking, politics on the Jim Toth show. And then Ann started playing hockey at age 40, which is great because she looks 35.
yeah.
But the reason they came up to finally watch a Jets game from Minneapolis is because her hockey season just ended. So just really great Jets fans. We love hearing from all of you.
Yeah.
And I was so glad they took the time to stop in and say hi and loyal listeners. So.
Yeah, appreciate that. Hey, we already got a call. Steve's on the line here on Free For All Friday.
Free-for-all!
Hey, Steve, how are you?
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Steve. What's up? What's on your mind? Free For All Friday. What's going on, dude?
I called in 2 months ago, and I'm a Pittsburgh Penguins fan.
Sorry.
And Cam, you promised me if the Penguins won the Cup, you'd get me a Penguins T-shirt. So if you've already ordered that, I would probably cancel it.
I was going to wait. Listen, I was going to wait for them to win if they won in June. And then I would have.
Not even sniffing the playoffs, my friend.
Well, I didn't want to say anything.
Here's my serious question, and I'll hang up and listen to your answer. So if you're Dubas, Kyle Dubas, that's their GM.
Yeah.
What in the heck do you do? You've got the fifth best player who ever played in the NHL. You've got Malkin, and then you've got. So they're an aging team, is my point. But can you tear it down, rebuild? With the fifth best player and whoever played the game on your team, or like what do you do if you're Dubas?
Well, I mean, you kind of saddled yourself with this team. I mean, you brought Erik Karlsson in, and it just hasn't worked. And that was sort of his big swing.
And Erik Karlsson's playing good hockey.
Yeah, you trade Jake Gensel. Look at Jake Gensel, what he's doing in Tampa Bay. I don't know. Like it's a conundrum here. You're in a position where you have Evgeny Malkin come out and says he only wants to play for the Penguins. He's not going anywhere else. Crosby is likely going to retire as a Pittsburgh Penguin here, and so are all the sort of assets that you have. I mean, Chris Letang as well. I do not know what you do. You are in one heck of a pickle, Jim. What do you think about that?
Well, it's interesting because I think PK Subban took Dubas to task on this on air in the States on a hockey broadcast about a week ago and literally said, you're making $7 million a year, Dubas. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Are you rebuilding? Are you going in a new direction? Are you active at this deadline to try and make this work? Because he seems to be doing nothing. He's making minor league deals. And then he brought in. I mean, look.
Well, what if you don't move one of those guys? What can you do? Like, honestly, what value do you have in the majority of your roster?
That's what PK was saying. Are you moving one of them? Are you moving two of them? What is the direction you're going in right now? Because it seems to be your direction is keeping all of them, and it's not working. So you're just riding this into the ground and not going to get anything for them? Or are you going to keep forging forward this way? And the other part of this is like you traded Jagger to bring in Rutger McGroarty to play for you, and he's in the minors. Like, what is your direction of the franchise?
That's a good point.
And you're the Penguins fan, and I'm not trying to harp on you or anything, but look, I just The Penguins, to me, look a lot like the Leafs. They're veteran top six heavy. They have no goaltending and maybe one or two good D-men.
And here's the thing, too. It's the players. If the player doesn't want to be traded, they won't. Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Erik Karlsson, and Chris Letang all have full no movement clauses.
So as a Penguin fan, what do you feel the direction of the organization is?
I said I was going to hang up, but I'm.
I know. That's why we asked you, Steve. I see you didn't run away.
Yeah. And Malkin says he wants to retire there, Steve. I
wouldn't want to be him because I wouldn't know what to do. You do not trade the fifth best player ever played hockey, and Malkin and Letang. Okay, whatever, maybe, but no. So is this rebuild? Yeah, no, it's a tough one, and that's my team. That's been my team for 40 years.
Well, I'm sorry because it's going to be tough for the next decade.
And how long has Dubas been there now? Is this the second or third year?
Since he left the Leafs. So how long was Treliving? Is this his second year?
It's his
second year. Was Treliving been with the Leafs for 3 years now? No, it's only been 2.
I think it's the third.
Is it? What is it, Steve? Do you know?
Anyway, Cam, don't order that jersey.
Okay, I won't. I promise you I won't.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
You're doing well, Steve. You're saving Cam some money.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'm
with him. Look, I'm not trying to pump PK Subban's tires by any means, but I'm just saying it's a fair question. What are you doing? What is your direction?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you do. Treliving is hired as the new general manager of the Leafs in May 31st, 2023. So it's his second season.
So you've been there for over a year now. You've had 2 off seasons. You've re-signed Crosby, but what is you?
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
and you didn't sign the Karlsson deal, but you brought it over.
Yeah, well, yeah, you traded for it.
So does this not look like, and I don't mean the Leafs now, I mean back when he was running the Leafs, you have a ton of cash pumped in, probably more cash than they.
Yeah.
I mean, in the top 6, you have 1 or 2 pretty good D-men. You just traded Marcus Pettersson. You're probably your best overall D-man to Vancouver, who just signed him for a lengthy at 5.5. That guy you should have signed. That guy you should have kept.
Can you fix the depth? Because the depth is the issue. Can you fix the depth?
It's the Leafs 2.0 from 3 years ago.
Can you fix the depth in free agency or with trades? Is that something that you can even do?
Well, he's doing minor trades. Like there's a ton of minor league players going one way, another one. I think he's made 2 or 3.
You can't get rid of picks too. Like you cannot get rid of picks.
No, like that's how you have to. So I just. And look, the counterpoint to mine is you have these franchise Hall of Fame players. Then fair enough, but Rickard Rakell, you can't get anything for him.
It's almost a curse in a way. I mean, of course, you win 3 cups, so nothing is a curse. I mean, you're kind of dealing with the ramifications of that. But having 3 of those guys is kind of a little bit of a curse.
I thought his job when he came in was to get it better. Not to rebuild, because anybody who says the word rebuild again needs to look at Chicago.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
No. Or Ottawa. They're not even
or Ottawa or Detroit.
Buffalo.
Like you kind of have to do what the Jets did, and they just slowly built.
James, you're on Free For All Friday. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Yourself?
Doing fantastic. What's on your mind, James?
Okay, first of all, I'm a diehard Jets fan.
Oh, sorry, you cut out.
Diehard Jets fan. No, I got you.
Yeah. And a hockey fan in general as well. So that when my team is playing the Colorado Avalanche, I'm pulling for the Jets. So that's the way it is. Colorado plays Edmonton. Well, that's a toss-up because I don't like Edmonton and I don't like Colorado because they're enemies of the Jets.
Okay.
Now, this is coming down to Wayne Gretzky here.
Okay.
Now, you guys were just talking about, Crosby being possibly traded or whatever's going to happen with him over there at Pittsburgh. Well, I've got an idea. Somebody get a hold of Pierre or Trudeau there and tell him that we'll trade Wayne Gretzky to Trump for tariffs. And he should be really happy because apparently Wayne likes it down there, and so does Donald Trump. But having said all that,
what are we going to get? So we're just going to, so we trade Wayne Gretzky and then Trump says no more tariffs. That's it? It just takes Wayne Gretzky.
What's that?
It's just Wayne Gretzky? That's it?
Well, unless you figure a bag of hockey pucks is with the deal and maybe some used hockey tape.
I think.
But having said that, if Wayne would grow a pair and come out and stand on his own 2 feet and say, exactly what's on his mind, because let's remember, people, he was a Canadian, or supposed to be a Canadian, and he's living across the line, and he's pulling for the Americans. Whose side are you on, Wayne? Wayne, you get traded from Edmonton to L.A. It was. Now, do you think the Edmonton Oilers fans were cheering for Wayne Gretzky when he played for L.A.? No. This is a similar thing. When you jump ship and go on the other side of the fence and you're playing for the other team, guess what? You're the enemy.
I don't think you can trade somebody who's already there.
What did Seinfeld say? Was a Seinfeld bit? At some point, you're just cheering for the shirt, right? Because the players change. You're not really rooting for the players. You're just rooting for the shirt.
Rooting for my team. That's what I'm rooting for.
Okay, James, I appreciate you made me laugh. I appreciate the phone call.
Thanks for the call, James.
204-780-6868, 204-780-6868. There's a name that's come around a little bit, and a former Jet, and his name's kind of perked up a little bit. We'll get to that as we continue on Free For All Friday. We got calls on the line. Do not go anywhere. We'll get to some text messages as well.
Flew by.
Jets at noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
If you are on the line right now, hold, because we'll get more time after 12:30 when we come back. So just hold on the line. We'll get to your thoughts. Kurt texts the show on Free For All Friday. Good afternoon, guys. A couple things. We have to start winning faceoffs, and we're not moving enough during the power play, becoming stagnant. We can't rely on Heinola playing with men. Looks like a teenager out there. That one from Kirk. Love the show and discussions on a daily basis. Well, thanks a lot, Kurt. I appreciate that. Faceoffs are an issue. Listen, and the power play, it was always going to go through a stretch like this during the season. It's still at a 32% clip over the entire year. Just need to wait. It's going to start scoring again. I have no doubt about that.
Well, and on the pregame, they discussed it, and I wasn't too worried about it at all. And some people reached out on social media last night and said, I was with you, but now I'm starting to worry, like the 5-on-3. And I thought Paul Edmonds, Mitchell Clinton, and Kelly Moore broke it down perfectly. It's just not moving fast. Yeah. Like Paul had a perfect description of it. In order for it to work, the puck or the players have to move quickly, preferably both. And so as I was watching last night, especially the 5-on-3, and they just weren't. And so
they will. They'll start doing it again.
Well, and that's what I have faith in it. Yeah. I don't think it's time to panic at all, but 5 games, the 5-on-3, it's time to obviously spend the time, get into it, and get it moving again.
Well, I wonder how much they practice it this year. Like, because if it just was going so well. I mean, usually you go after things that you just haven't been, like, that you need to work on. That's what you have practice for. I wonder how much time they've spent on the power play.
The best thing, Cam, that came out of that last night was how disappointed the players were.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, I wasn't at all.
That's exactly
this
how
wasn't
I felt.
going to go forever. They got Sorosed, and they played, okay, and they'll come home, and it wasn't going to go to 20 and blah, blah, blah. But then listening to the players post game, I'm just like, this is good. Like, they took this like it was their 12th loss in a row.
Well, and here's KC.
Obviously no excuse. I think, the chances were there. We could have had easily, 5 or 6 in that game. It's, something that we got to work on and bear down.
Casey's broken up. He's upset. That's exactly what I took away, Jim. Let's take a break. Let's come back. More Free For All Friday. Your calls when we return. Don't go anywhere here on Jets at Noon. If you ever get... Welcome back. Jets at Noon brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line or caller. Could win themselves a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later on in the program. Chris, you have been waiting very patiently. Hey, Chris, how are you? Thanks for calling in to Free For All Friday.
Hey, Chris.
Thanks, fellas. If you could only do one, not both, do you pick up a defenseman for the run, or do you go for a second-line center that obviously can play wing, and potentially someone who can win face-offs? Because I think when the playoffs get deep and it's a real fight, our playoff percentage, my take has been, it seems to plummet when we get into the playoffs.
Well, Chris, I'll ask you first. I'll give you my thoughts, but what do you think? What should they go for first?
I honestly think defense. with the Wad trade, I think we've got a lot of depth up front and enough guys that can play center. I just don't know about the face-off taking. But the defense, you lose one of your star defense, and now everyone moves up one spot, and that makes me pretty leery about the third pairing or worse.
Well, Chris, I'm exactly of the same mind as you. I mean, the team has not struggled to score this year. So if I had to choose one, it would be bringing in another big body on defense.
I would like to do both, but I take your question.
You just got to pick one, Jim.
I go D. If I can only do one, I go D, and I would do it in the top four and maybe move somebody even further down, or just like the days of on the right side, Trouba, Byfuglien, Myers. I'm thinking something like that. If you could do a DeMello, Pionk, and have somebody who could play top four on your six pair, and same on the left. If you could go Morrissey, Samberg, and a top four D-men playing in your 5 and 6 role, that's what I would do.
Do you think that when the chips are down and it's tough to battle out, that whoever they decide to pick up should have a Stanley Cup ring to show for it? Because it just seems like having that veteran presence to say, hey, you need to find the third, fourth, fifth gear here as the rounds continue. I just think that might be more helpful than almost whichever position you decide to pick
I think it's valuable, but not vital.
Yeah, I wouldn't look for it. I shouldn't say that. I'd keep an eye out for it, but it wouldn't determine whether I pull the trigger or not.
Yeah.
You think we have the draft capital to keep doing this? Because eventually, I hate to say it, turn into the Pittsburgh Penguins when the cupboard is bare and you're back to rebuilding, and it's 6-7 years before you can have any way to climb back up again.
Yeah, Chris, we actually talk about this in our exclusive podcast segment, only on our podcast. So make sure you give that a download. You can find it Jets at Noon on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. But there's a certain the Jets can't. I'll just give you a little taste of what we talked about. They can't go so far that they can't come back, if that makes sense to you, Chris. Where I think they have to pick in either the first or the second round. Almost, they have to do that every single year. They can always get rid of a first-round pick. They can get rid of a second-round pick, but I don't think they can do that in the same year. And if they do, they have to go back and they have to grab another one the next year or the next year after that. They just can't get caught. They can't get caught like that.
I totally agree, because I think teams have basically spent every last commodity they have, and then they have nothing left to come back. That first summer when the team come back, I happened to run into Cheveldayoff, and literally I got him to sign my cap, and I said straight to him, I said, you are probably the most important free agent signing this franchise will get the next 20 years, sir. And honestly, I've said this before, in Chevy we trust, and in Helly we rely. So he's done nothing but great for the franchise, and you look at a guy like Dubas and Kubas for Pittsburgh, and you step back and go, my God, you can sure foul up a team in a hurry if your GM is just not on point.
Chris, I'm going to give you a car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, because this has been an excellent call. So I'm going to pop you on hold, and I appreciate it. We got to move on because we've got a bunch of other calls here, but it was an awesome call, Chris, and I hope you enjoy the Paris of the prairies at Wash Method, the best in the business. And Kevin Cheveldayoff, how good has he been, Jim?
Well, we'll find out, right? You're only as good as your last trade deadline.
Yeah, that's true.
But a week from now. But look, people know how I feel about this. I fully embrace his mistakes and the missed shots. You can always harp on somebody who he gets harped on more for what he's not doing than what he does. But if you look at this organization, and then what Chris touched on there going forward, like, does anybody think in 4 or 5 years this will be the Pittsburgh Penguins? Or does anybody think this will be the Chicago Blackhawks? I don't. And that's why when we talked earlier on the podcast this week about, like, their negotiations right now with Neil Pionk, it starts and ends with Chevy with, do you want to be here? Because we know there's the Toffolis and the Monahans and all that. I'm not harping on those guys. But it's Winnipeg, right? You got to find good players, and you got to keep the ones that want to be here. And the ones who do seem to take discounts. So it's been great.
Mike's on the line. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Welcome to Free for All Friday.
Free for all, baby.
Free for all. What's going on, Mike? What's up, dude?
We should get T-shirts, Mike.
Well, I'm kind of pissed off at a lot of Canadians and their disrespect for Wayne Gretzky.
That upsets you?
It upsets me a lot.
What are the emotions going through your head? Why is this upsetting you?
Number one, just like a war veteran, Gretzky has bled for this country. And he's the greatest of all time. He deserves nothing but respect, no matter. Like, people have jumped to a lot of conclusions to make these comments about him, and that's what absolutely sickens me, and I want them to get their head out of their you-know-what.
So, you know what? This is my opinion on this, Mike.
Can I point out one thing that happened?
Yeah, go right ahead.
At the game in Boston, American fans booing everything Canada possible. But I haven't heard or seen anyone pointing out the simple fact that when Gretzky came out, the crowd was going to start booing, and they announced Gretzky's name and saw him on the screen. They immediately hushed themselves because they know he deserves respect.
Yeah,
that's a Canadian gaining respect from Americans because he commands it and he deserves it.
Yeah, Mike, my opinion on this is I want to hear from Wayne. We haven't heard anything from him. And I understand he's in a bit of a pickle. There's no doubt about that. I'm not sure he asked for Donald Trump to be mentioning him all these times. I'm not sure what's going on behind the scenes there. I'd like to hear from Wayne. I'd like him to come out and say this, because if he is really as heartbroken and he's upset about this as his wife is saying and as Bobby Orr is saying, then why wouldn't we want to hear from him? I mean, why won't he come out and say something, make something public, put out I don't understand why there isn't been something like that.
And my take is twofold, Mike. I agree with you. Wayne's in a tough spot because whether you like Trump or not, they're friends.
Yes.
And we've all had friends over the years that disappointed us or have done something that we don't agree with. I don't believe that should end your friendship. I think a lot of people listening, including myself, would never be friends with Donald Trump. But that's not the point. The point is Wayne Gretzky and Donald Trump are friends. His friend is doing something that's he might not agree with and is being embarrassed, but he's still friends with him. So I get that side of it. But the flip side of that is don't have your wife, don't have Bobby Orr, don't have Donald Trump send a tweet. You have, as you said, Mike, bled and led Canada and a very proud Canadian. I don't want to make you say something, but if it bothers you that much, don't have other people speak for you. Say it yourself. A simple statement put out about your passion for Canada. And I've lived in the States for over 40 years now. And I also like America. And I wish to not weigh in on this, but I am a proud Canadian. Something as simple as that.
What was confusing to me is why he didn't come out and say something immediately. Like when he was being sort of, maybe he didn't want to get involved.
Because they're friends. And I don't know this for a fact, but I assume they're more than friends. I assume they have some business dealings. I assume they have some business dealings, and I assume there's some backing going on there. I would assume there's some donorship going on there, but I don't know that for a fact, so don't quote me. But I get the point of, look, we live in a divisive world, right?
Yeah.
I've had friends that I 180 disagree with about many things over the past 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing to me. Mm-hmm. But I don't publicly criticize them because they're still my friend. And my friends make mistakes, and I'm sure I've made mistakes. So I get that side of it. The flip side of that is just put something out, and this all goes away.
I just feel we should just hear from
Don't have other people.
Mike, I appreciate the call and the conversation, okay? Take care. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
We'll be commenting.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure
Great
he will.
stuff,
Thanks,
Mike.
I appreciate the call. Gord, you're welcome to the show. How's it going? What's up, Gord?
How about you guys?
Doing
good, thank you.
Doing well.
Nick Ehlers, what is going on with this guy, and what are we going to do? What do you guys think?
You're going to ride him into the summer. You're going to try and acquire more pieces, and you make a decision after your playoffs. Whether it's a Stanley Cup championship or not, you make a decision then.
Okay. Well, I have a different opinion.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think, Gord?
I want him gone.
You don't think he could help you down the stretch, especially if you add more pieces?
You know, he's a dynamic piece on the second line, Gord.
Just hear me out. I've watched Jets, and I've been to quite a few games, but I'm older now. But in 2018, I can remember very well. He was the series we were just about to win it. He did absolutely nothing. He got 0 points in the thing. The next one was the COVID game when Game 3, he got that Game 3 in Winnipeg to win the game. After that, in the Vegas series, again, he is invisible. The guy he reminds me of some guys who he over the 9-10 years we've watched him, he'll make 4 or 5 super plays and then he'll make 15 bonehead. The last 2 games against St. Louis and the other guys, if you watched him, he was invisible. And when we got the puck in our own zone, he does absolutely nothing. And that's just what I got to say. I don't like the guy. I never have.
So you are not for re-signing him. What do you think? They should trade him at the deadline or what?
We could take Joel Armia and put him on that second line. That line needs some grit. It's not going to go anywhere in the playoffs. When you watch the 3 of them, they are just not strong enough. We need somebody second line, some kind of winger that can move, that can get in the puck and fight for it.
Yeah, so
fair enough. But don't you think going into the playoffs, they're better off like with him and adding than they are to trade him right now?
Well, tell me what he's done in a playoff game when the games are on the line.
I lead that band. I'm the lead singer of that band. I need to see something in the playoffs. But much like a lot of the Jets players, I think that's what this playoff is about. Like,
I've seen a much more engaged Ehlers, and I've seen him prepared to do what perhaps in other years he was maybe hesitant to say or hesitant to do.
Okay.
So he's definitely. See, listen. I think we might agree on something, Gord. I'm not re-signing him during the season here like Vladislav Domestikov. There's kind of rumors going around about Neil Pionk. Is he going to re-sign with the Jets before the trade deadline? We'll wait and see. I don't know what's going to happen. These are kind of just things that are out there. Ehlers is a guy I make a decision after the playoffs, and then we see what happens. That's my thoughts.
Do you think he wants to stay here? That's another thing.
My opinion is I think he is open to going somewhere else.
I think he wants to stay here. I think he wants to be treated like every other player that he is friends with on the team and has been brought up and drafted with. I think he, like Josh Morrissey, Hellebuck, Scheifele, Kyle Connor in a year from now, but up until now, I think he said that at training camp. It's not just about money. I want to be here, but they have to want me to be here as well. And I think that means term, and I think that means money and a part of keeping the band together. But that being said, like I add to this team, I go into the playoffs, I ride it out, good or bad, and then I make a decision on him after that.
Okay, well, good luck, good call. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Gord. I appreciate it.
That was awesome.
Awesome call. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Let's go to, we can squeeze one more in here. Kelly, what's up, Kelly? We've got to be real quick here, though. We're starting to run out of time.
Logan Stanley in the lineup means that Lowry doesn't have to fight, but Logan Stanley is a liability on defense. Regarding power play and penalty kill, if you got a 25% power play and an 85% penalty kill, you're doing really well. If those two numbers add up to 110 or beyond, you got a good special teams.
Yeah, I think the Jets do have good special teams.
Yeah, and I think the power play is going to score again, and they'll fix that. So I like the specialty teams too. And I fully think that that's what you do is, look, I'll even include the other, all the 5-6 D-men. If you can add a top 4 D-man on either side and push one of those guys down, you're a much better team for it.
Yeah.
We don't even have to discuss who needs it or who doesn't or who could stay in the lineup, who doesn't. I just think in the lines of grab a top 4 D-man and put them in this lineup, and you're just deeper and better.
I think the players want to see something like that too. I think they want to see an addition. We had Adam Lowry on the show last week, and he said if it makes sense and we can make a big addition, yeah, of course, we're all for it here. So thanks so much for the call, Kelly. Appreciate it.
Got to have defense and be strong and tough.
I'm with you on that
Adam
one.
Lowry also said they need a new third-line center. No, I'm kidding. He didn't say that.
More calls after this. Don't go anywhere.
CJOB.
Welcome back. Hey, download the Jets at Noon podcast free now on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you find your podcasts. Exclusive Jets talk and content only found there. And take Jets at Noon wherever you go and continue the conversation whenever you want. We got to get to 2 callers here. Mac, don't go anywhere. Steve, what's up, man? Welcome to Free For All Friday.
Hey, Free For All Friday.
Free for all.
Free for all. Free for all.
First time caller here. Hey, yeah. Yeah, I just got myself a 2015 truck, and she's really dirty right now. You know where I'm going with that. But
anyway, Steve, I gave it away already. I would have got a first-time caller. I would have given it to you for sure. You didn't get through quick enough.
2015.
You call back next week. You call back next week. You'll get it.
Right on. I think we should. My opinion is I like. When we did with Toffoli, we brought him in, and then he left. I think we go get ourselves a couple of ex-Jets. You know where I'm going with these 2 players that don't want to be here. We go get them till the end of the year. and they can go back to their respective teams.
Brandon Tanev apparently is looking at coming back. He's looking for a team. He wants to be moved to a contender. Yeah. Was that what a guy like that?
That's a good guy too. Armina's doing well as well. I like what Lanny's doing in Montreal. Well, why can't we get that guy back here? He brought us to the Final Four that year with the rest of the boys, and he'd play really good. And who do you think's a top blocker in the NHL? I mean, let's get Trouba back here. As much as he doesn't want to be here, let's let him play. These guys were going to a contending team. Like, you win a Stanley Cup here, you can go back. I don't think he's happy in New York anymore anyway. So.
Well, he's in Anaheim now. Yeah, he got me. Which I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, Steve. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, a guy like Brandon Tanev, I think, would fit in well. If they are looking to add depth at forward, I mean, that's exactly the kind of guy that you want. Bring back Rusty. And Yoel Armia. I mean, again, I don't think that they're going to be targeting some of the bigger names on the board, but I think they're going to go after depth. And I think the Jets are going to gamble. Not that it's gambling, but they're going to bet that these guys in the room can get it done. But they're definitely going to add. They're going to make some moves, and they're going to add to this team. That's for sure. Steve, I appreciate the phone call so much. You take care. Okay, thanks for the call. You call back next week.
That's the second one on Yoel. Pardon me, Armia. Jets fans really want Armia back? Like,
that's two callers now.
Yeah, wow.
Hey, Mac, what's up? Final caller of the day. What's going on, dude?
Good. How you doing?
Good, Mac.
Doing
thanks.
good.
Happy free for all.
What they should do is, I know Ehlers, he doesn't want to stick around. That's why he's playing so well. He's trying to jazz up his resume. That's the way I see it. Either way, we probably wouldn't be able to afford him. But we should go after O'Reilly.
Yeah.
That would be a good pick.
Yeah,
And
you know what? I don't think he's a top center anymore, but a second-line center who can win faceoffs is exactly what I think they need.
Yeah, 4.5.
If we trade him and Ehlers, try that.
I don't get rid of Ehlers.
Defenseman there. What's 54? What's his name?
Samberg.
Yeah, get rid of him.
Samberg?
What?
Really, every time you watch him, and I've been watching him for the last 10, 15 games, every time something bad happens, it's him.
Mac, do you understand that he has been arguably their best D-man this year?
Compared to Morrissey?
Well, who's going to compare him to Morrissey?
I don't know. I'd get rid of Sandberg.
Next to Morrissey, Mac, statistically, Samberg next to Morrissey has been their best D, and when he was out of the lineup is when they lost their most games.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, they struggled.
He literally impacts the game significantly for one player when he's in the lineup, and he's young.
But Mac, it's free for all Friday.
But Mac, you know what? Today I'll think about it.
Yeah, it's free for all Friday.
I would even if I had to trade him for a water bottle, just so the guys have an extra water bottle.
Hey Mac, this is what free for all Friday is. I gotta think about it now. You're making me think about it.
Thanks for the call, bud. You take care.
Okay, bye now.
All right.
Thanks, Mac.
I don't know if Mac's gonna get a lot of support on that one.
3 things surprised me today. A, Jets fans want Armia back. B, they one of them wants to get rid of Samberg.
Yeah.
And C, somebody doesn't like Logan Stanley. That's shocking.
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
This is a great Free For All Friday. It's only going to get better because next Free For All Friday
fun.
is a lot of fun, listeners.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, next Free For All Friday. Yeah, trade deadline. I already booked Darren.
One of us might not be here.
That's right.
Shipped out to Nuvik.
I got TSN Darren Dreger. He's going to be joining us on Wednesday to help break down our lead up to trade deadline info. And then we have, of course, the fourthperiod.com, one of the best in the biz. Dave Pagnotta is going to be joining us on Thursday. So lots to look forward to next week. Jim Toth, take you all the way till 2 o'clock. That's it. Be back same time tomorrow. See ya.